Police dogs searching the desert, unable to turn up a suspect in a violent robbery in the Northeast Valley. A 62-year-old woman tied up and beat up before the armed suspect took off. Well, investigators tell me it's possible the suspect was monitoring her routine. And at last check, she still is in the hospital this evening after being freed by a relative who is a police officer. Before the crime scene tape and massive search, detectives tell me the 62-year-old homeowner went on her typical exercise routine. She returned maybe a tad bit earlier than normal and stepped inside.
He was in the house when she came home from exercising around 5 o'clock, and he was there in the house and surprised her.
He, a burglar, who then grabbed the woman, beat her, tied her to the bed and grabbed cash, jewelry, and told her if she called police, he would return.
I just live down the road.
Tara Lynn Savateri had a bad feeling. The crime tape, helicopters, and dogs had her looking for answers.
It frightens me because I walk around here 5 to 6 miles a day when I'm home.
That walk, her routine, and fearing her neighbor. The victim's own routine may have been tracked. Savateri is taking action to protect herself.
I'm going to change it up. Yes, definitely.
As for the victim, her husband was out of town. Her doors were locked and the suspect disappeared in the neighborhood surrounded by desert landscape. Some wonder if the suspect had been there before.
She has a lot of work done at her house. We'll look at that angle too.
Nearly a half hour would go by before detectives say the victim's son-in-law, a Glendale police officer, showed up to find her bound.
The question you asked, what can we do to stop it? Maybe we should give these burglars a little more time in jail.
And we are not identifying the victim. She is expected to physically recover from her injuries. At this point, there are no suspects. Now, we did some digging for you and found there has actually been a rash of other break-ins in this part of the valley, many of them happening in Rio Verde, that's north of Fountain Hills. In most cases, the crooks appear to be looking for televisions. Investigators say they don't know if those burglaries are connected to today's, but they haven't completely ruled it out.
A very